Hi everyone, I'm doing another try on video and this one will be for the Degen Lac Sweater, which is apostrophe L-A-C. It's slang for entrelac. I'm gonna go try it on. All right, so here it is. This is the Degen Lac Sweater. And again, lac is slang or short for entrelac, duh. And here we go. I'm gonna twirl for you. All right, so let's start with yarns. So I was super lucky because I was one of the few who got the opportunity to test out the new Misha and Puff lightweight. I think they call it lightweight sport or light worsted. I'm gonna go with light worsted. Either way, it's sort of a DK weight, which whatever, the weights are all a lie anyway. So it's a superwash yarn that is hand dyed in Peru. And it is super beautiful because it has these beautiful, let's see if I can get in there, beautiful highs and lows within the color. This color is called Laurel, and it's just so beautiful. So that's the yarn. I think that I'm going to knit this again, and it would be fun to do it in all different yarns so that you get more of a multicolor thing. But this one I did solid, and you can really see that sort of woven look texture, which I love. I'm not going to lie, I started this sweater and I got to about here and realized that it was like two times bigger than myself and completely unraveled it and started again. And that's because I forgot that when you're doing entrelac, it's going diagonal. So even if your gauge on the stockinette is perfectly dialed, you have to gauge it on the diagonal, which is obviously like way wider because remember the whole hypotenuse thing, like obviously in a right triangle, the long side is the diagonal side. So yeah, I totally blew it and had to unravel and reknit it, but I'm so glad that I stuck with it because I think that this sweater is like really easy to wear, but also very luxurious. So let's get into the fit, and I'm gonna go talk about it over there. So this is sort of my typical oversized boxy fit. It's wide. This pattern comes in sizes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the reason that I did that instead of typical extra small through XXXL is because the entrelac itself sort of determines some of the specs. And so even if I wanted to hit a certain spec for a certain size, it's sort of determined by the size of the lock. So I just went with it and chose sizes 1 through 5, and they are what they are. This is a size 3. It's larger than a sweater I would typically wear. So if I were to remake this for myself, I think I'd probably make a size 2, maybe a size 1, probably a size 2. But this is a size 3, and I still love the fit of it. It's just definitely oversized on me. One thing that I think is very cool about this pattern, if I do say so myself, is that this pattern comes with two sleeve views. The drama sleeve, which is obviously this one, is like just a volume bubble full Renaissance fantasy sleeve. And it also comes with view B, which is more of a traditional sleeve that will fully taper down to the arm opening. So it would be, you know, more classic. So you can sort of choose your own adventure there. Love that. But then the cuff is very fitted and lovely, and it sort of makes that gather happen. So you'll notice that the spec for the sleeve is pretty long, but the cuff is so fitted that it's intended to fit on your wrist as a typical sleeve would, but then form that sort of bubble shape. So much Renaissance drama with the sleeve. I love it. I think that this sweater would be really cute with a tight little turtleneck under it to really show the proportions off. Anyway, this one I knit to be not really as cropped as I typically knit it. I'm gonna go back up. It comes down to like my true, if I pull it to where it wants to be, it comes down to my true hip. But again, since it sort of cinches in at the rib, it allows it to kind of like blouse over. The sweater is knit in the round from the bottom up, and then the sleeves are knit on. And then after you do the body in the round, all that, the rib on the bottom is knit onto it, and so is the neckline. And then all of the bind offs are that beautiful Italian or 1x1 sewn bind off that I fell in love with. I talked a little bit about fit at the top or a little earlier, but as per usual, if you feel like the sweater measurements are outside of what you would wear for smaller or larger, aka if your body is smaller than the specs of the garment would allow or larger, I would always be happy to grade it. However, this one's a little weird because, again, the entrelac sort of determines what it is. So I think going smaller or larger might require like a little bit more work in the pattern. But again, always happy to do it because I want as many bodies to wear it as possible. So this is the Deegan entrelac sweater. I hope you'll consider making it, and I hope to see some multicolored versions out in the world. Last thing, because I just saw myself in the screen over there and realized one detail that sort of is necessary to make the pattern happen, but kind of like a fun, I don't know, like ode to making a sweatshirt. This part is just one of the locks that you have to cast off in the middle to make the neckline. But you know how sweatshirts often have that little triangle for some reason at the neck, which in the industry we call that the Dorito or the nacho. This sort of has that little Dorito or nacho shape just because it had to happen. What a fun little, you know, acknowledgement to the classic sweatshirt. That's it. This is the entrelac sweater.